Hi everyone. Today is Salesforce Development 11 session, day 11. Today's agenda will quickly go through the previous session and we'll talk about the enable development mode in Lightning and a Classic. And we'll talk about the one of the attribute in the Apex page. Today we are going to focus on the Visualforce Tag called pageBlocktable. And also we are going to focus on Apex column, Visualforce Tag and their attributes. And then we will see the Apex commandLink, Visualforce Tag and attributes. We'll talk about the Apex panelGrid, Visualforce Tag and attributes. And then we will talk about the Apex facet, Visualforce Tag and attributes. Then we will see Apex variable, Visualforce Tag and attributes. Finally, we'll have a conclusion, quiz, homework, and interview questions. Now, quickly, what did we learn yesterday?
Apex details.
Apex column details. Tag.
Global variables.
Apex column
Column
tab.
tab panel.
Apex column tab. Apex column tab.
Apex column image.
Right, we have seen the Apex detail, Apex tab panel, Apex tab, and then we have seen the Apex image, global variable, and then output fields, Apex output field. So these are the one which we have seen yesterday. So let's go ahead and see today. Enable development mode in user interface in Lightning. So Visualforce page allows use to add the code on same page instead of switching into the developer console. That means whenever we are writing any logic, so what we are doing, we are writing the logic in the development and then we are reviewing the changes here, right? So, but instead of switching back to the development, Visualforce pages allow us to add the code on the same page instead of switching to the developer console. Now, what is the steps? Navigation steps to enable development mode in Salesforce Lightning. Click on avatar. On this side, you will see the avatar. So click on that. There will be a setting option. Click on a setting option and then it will redirect it to the new page. Once it is redirected to the new page, click on the advanced user details in my personal information. So this is the screen. Here we have a advanced user details. And then here one of the option called development mode. So there is one option called development mode. Enable this and click on a save. This is in Lightning, whereas in Classic, navigation steps are click on your username. So you will have here username. Just click on this username and then click on My Settings. Once you click on the My Setting, it will go to the Personal tab. So when it goes to the Personal tab, there we have an option called Advanced User Details. So this is the Advanced User Details. And in the Advanced User Details, just click on the Debug Development Mode. So let's go ahead and see that. So first in the Lightning, click on Avatar. And here you see settings, click on these settings. When you click on the settings, it will take you to the personal information. In my personal information, click on this advanced user details. Now, scroll down, you will see one of the option called development mode. Here you see one of the option called development mode. So click on edit. Scroll down. Development mode. Just click on this and save. This is in Lightning. Whereas in Classic, let me switch to the Classic. Click on your name. Here it's the My Settings. Click on My Settings. It will take you to the personal details. So click on this personal tab and then select the advanced user details. So when you click on advanced user details, click on edit and enable the development mode and save. So once it is saved, so how can we see the development mode? Now this is the page that we have implemented yesterday. Let me click on refresh. See here in the same page, I can do the coding and I can view the output. For example, if I'm making any changes, let's take account information. Now I'll say that I'll comment out the postal code. Click on save. It will be reflected here. So on the same page, I can do the coding and I can see the output. So today all our programs will be doing like this. But you have to create a Visualforce page from the developer console. Once you create, at least you need to add a Apex page and end of the Apex page, then come to this screen and we can do. So today mostly I'll be using this one, development mode on the user interface instead of doing into the developer console. Okay, any questions on the steps into the enable development mode? Okay, so let's move on. Apex page attribute. Today we are going to learn one of the attribute called record set var. Record set var. It's basically, it indicates the page uses a list controller. It can indicate the variable name of the record collection. That means when I have the list of the items, when I have the collection of the records, that time we use the record set var. So this variable can be used to access the data in the record collection. In the record collection, let me go to the paint. Now, before what we used to do, we used to write a program, Apex : page and standard controller. Equal to, let's assume, account. Apex : page. Now, if I wanted to display the data, right, in Apex : assume that output field. Output field. In output field, what we used to do, value equal to. Here I'm directly getting the exclamation account.name. Account.name. This is how we used to display. For example, if I wanted to display the account name, then this is the way I used to do. If I wanted to display the account rating, then same thing I have to do account dot rating. Now this is when we used to do when I have a specific record. If I am displaying data related to specific record, that means on the URL, I am passing the ID equal to some number, 18-digit number I'm passing here, right? 18-digit number I'm passing it. That means standard controller equal to account, and when I'm displaying using the output or input, what are the I'm displaying it related to specific ID, then we directly used to get the information from the what are the standard controller name, and then API field name. This is how we used to do. Let's assume that I wanted to display the list of record. That means let's assume that account has some 21 records. Account has 21 records, and all our 21 records should be displayed here. All the 21 records should be displayed in the table. That means here I am taking the collection of record. Here what I am doing, I am taking the collection of the records. Collection of records I am taking. When I have a list of the records, standard controller cannot hold. It cannot hold the list of controller. That is just object name I'm giving it. And if I wanted to display the specific ID, then I can directly use account.name. But here the concept is, let's assume that my requirement is I have to show the list of records. I have to show list of records. When I have to show the list of records, that time what we are going to use is here, instead of this, record set var equal to, I'll give some name to this. Basically, I'm giving a name to the account. Let's assume that accounts. I'm just giving the name to it. So after standard controller, I'm writing the record set var equal to accounts. That means my standard controller is account. That doesn't change. Standard controller, definitely I want a account. That does not change. But after the standard controller, if I am adding the record set var here, that means this particular Apex page is going to have some logic which is looking for the list of records, right? So I wanted to display the list of record. So whenever I wanted to display the list of record, we have to always use the record set var accounts. We have to use the record set var accounts. Is that clear? Okay, so let's go ahead and create one of the Apex page. Let me go to the developer console. File, new Visualforce page, VF underscore, list of records. Click on OK. And now here standard controller equal to, I'll take the account. Now assume that we are going to pull a list of records. So what I'll do is I'll add a record set var. Equals to, you can take any name. It's need not to be this one. You can take ACCT, yes. Basically, you are giving a name to it. And then I'll say that set sidebar equal to false and show header equal to false. Let's save it. Now click on preview. Okay, so basically right now there is nothing I'm showing here. Let me take ID. Now remember one thing, the bottom it will appear when you pass the ID. Whether it is expecting or not, it doesn't matter. When you click on directly here, if you are not able to see the developer console, developer mode, like you clicked on a preview. After clicking on a preview, if you are not able to see here development mode, though you have enabled it in the setting, but still you are not able to see here. So what you do is at this starting stage, just add related ID. So here my page is expecting the account, so I'm passing the account ID. Now you can see all the information. For example, if I'm writing anything here, paragraph. Development mode is on. Save. See, it is displaying it. Right now I have taken the record set var equal to accounts. How will I use this accounts inside this? Let's see. Basically, we will use it when we have a list of record. That means if I have a table, if we are implementing a table or a collection of information, if I'm implementing it, then we will use the record set var. Now let's move on, then slowly you will see the details. Next one is Apex page block table. Apex page block table, Visualforce Tag. Use Apex page block table, Visualforce Tag to display the list of data as a table. To display the list of data as a table. Apex page block table used within the either page block or page block section. You have to use the page block table either within the page block or page block section. Now, standard controller by default only shows first 20 records. What does that mean is when you are implementing the table, let's assume that you are implementing this table. So when you are implementing this table, what we are using here, we are using the standard controller. We are using the standard controller. Standard controller by default, it will display only 20 rows. If you have a 21, 30 records also in single page, it will show only 20. It will show only 20 records. How to do remaining one? Hold on it. We will slowly go by step. So if we use a standard controller, here the records in the table, it will display only 20 records per page. Whereas if you wanted to control, like if you say that, okay, in the first page, I wanted to display 30 records or 50 records in the first page. To control the number of records displayed on each page, we have to use the extension. There is something called extension controller. When we talk about the extension controller, definitely I'll show you this point. But if you wanted to increase it, by default, Salesforce is showing by default 20 records. But if you wanted to increase it, the number of records, then you have to use the extension controller. Right now, we are not in a hurry on the extension controller because we have to understand a lot of things here. And for custom controller, there is something called custom controller, right? Custom controller is a different part. Again, if you use a custom controller or if you use an extension, Maximum it can display 1000 records. Maximum you can display 1000 record on each page. Attributes and the page block table. Value. Value is nothing but its attribute type is object. The collection of data displayed in the page block. Whatever the list of records you are going to display in table. For example, I wanted to display the account details, right? So here I need a first name, and I need last name or email and rest all information. So here I need to display some data. I need to display this. So where this data is stored, I need this collection of data. So table, the value attribute is holding this entire data. All the data will be it will hold in value attribute. Who will be passing that attribute? Record set where. Record set where has to pass. So that means value equal to this one, accounts. What are the record set where has a value? That's the same value we have to use it in the value equal to curly braces exclamation. What are the record set where name is there? Now, value contains a list of records. It's a collection of record. Now you have to iterate through the each one of them. So basically, your value contains these all information. Now you have to go through one by one. Get the first one and open the next one and get the third one, then get the fourth one, get the fifth one till whatever the number of records are there, need to go by each one by one, right? I cannot show all of them at a time. I need to iterate. First, display all of this information, then come back and display the second one and come back, display the third one. So that means every time I need to get single record, get the single record, display that single record and go to the next one. So that single record is again the var is going to define. Var is equal to, you will give some name. The name of the variable that represents one element in the collection of data specified by the value attribute. Cell padding, the amount of space between the border of each list cell and its content. Basically, you will be adding the padding. In case if you wanted to add a padding between the border of each list cells. And there is another one which is called cell spacing. Cell spacing is a space between the border of each list cells and the border of the other cell, between the two borders. So this is the first cell border and this is the second cell border. So between that, if you wanted to add some surrounding space for each cell, then you can apply it. Next one is a first attribute. First attribute is, by default, page block table gets all the list of records and it is displaying it. Get all the list of, for example, account has 1 to 21 records. So what table does it? Takes all the 21 records and display the 21 records here, right? In first page, it will display only 20 records. Now, so once it is taken this, for example, I don't want 1 to 21. I need from the fifth row. I need from this row. I need it from the fifth row. So from here, I wanted to display all the records. So that means from 5th to 21. From the 5th record to 21st record, I wanted to display instead of 1st to 21. So for that, what you will do is we will use a attribute called first. First is the This will specify from which index the record should be displayed. Index is nothing but whatever the records are there. Ideally, the index starts with 0. So it is a 0th index, and this is the first index, and this is the second index, this is third index, and this is fourth index. So if you wanted to display something from the fifth one, that means whatever the fifth record is there, that fifth record till 21st. Now let's go ahead and see.
Ma'am, what is that value attribute, ma'am? 1 second.
Yeah, value is a collection of data. Okay, so from the top, from the Apex page, you are passing the collection of data to the within the Apex page. So for example, here I have an Apex page. In the Apex page, we have a list of records. List of records. Where it is stored, list of records. List of records are stored into the accounts. Accounts is storing the list of records. Now it will pass this list of records to the what are the components we have inside the Apex page. It will pass the list of record. So what value does? Value will take this. Value will take this. That means value equal to accounts. So it will take the complete list of the record, because from the page it is passing the list of records, and table is also taken this record. Now what table does it? Table will take all the list of records and it will divide into, because table is nothing but it has to go through the each and every record, right? So it will take the value, and we have one of the attribute called var. So what I'll do, var equal to, I'll say A. That means this is A dot first record. Whatever the first record is there, display the first record here, and A dot second record here. And this is the A dot. List name is this one. Var is going to define it as a single row. Okay, probably you will see here. Let me add. So let's go ahead and add that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a page block table.
Page block.
So that means I need to use a page block.
Page block.
Because within the page block, we have to implement the page block table. Page block table has to be within the Apex page block or Apex page block section. Now, within this, I'm going to use the Apex colon page block table. Perfect. Now, value equal to, I'm passing the list of records. List of records. Again, I'm going to specify a name to it. Let's say that ACC. Okay, that means if anybody is trying to display the data of each record, they have to use ACC. They cannot use the account. Now, for example, instead of ACCTS, can I use directly account, and can I click on save? So what will happen? I wanted to use accounts and I wanted to use it. So let's take a account instead of ACCTS. Okay. Now, what happened here? There is nothing, just a table has implemented. You see here, thin line. Okay, this thin line is a table. Thin line is table. Now let's see, in between this, we have to add a columns. We have a data in each column, right? So let's see what is the apex column. So before that, decode of any Visualforce page, self-close tag and open Visualforce tag, close Visualforce tag, prefix namespace, and the component name attributes. pageBlocktable is a component name, value, var, or attributes. Now, next one is apex column. Use apex column Visualforce tag to display the data in single column in a table. If you wanted to display the single column in a table, use the apex column. So an apex column component must always be a child of apex data table or apex page block table. What is the data table? We will learn in the next session. Page block table. That means you cannot use the column outside of the page block table. Column is dedicated for displaying the data in the specific single column. Right? We have to use it either in the page block table or a data table. So what it does basically when I use the apex column. So whatever I use the value in the apex column, it will automatically display the header. The associated label for that field is used as the column header. That means if I use apex column account.name, apex column account.name, that means header will be a name. If I use apex account.phone, then automatically my header name will be the name. When I say header, table always have a headers, right? So this is the header. This is header. This is the header. So whatever the column is there, for example, here I am displaying the account.name. That means this header will be automatically taken from the column name. So the associated label for the field is used as a column header by default. Now, what are the attributes? Value. Definitely we need to display the value, the text that should be displayed in the every cell of the column. Style, if you wanted to apply any CSS style. Style class, if you wanted to use the external CSS style class for the header or for the column, apex column, you can use it. New one today, rendered. Attribute name called rendered. Rendered is a Boolean value. What does this mean? Rendered is nothing but a Boolean value that specifies whether the component is rendered on the page. Okay, if it has to render, that particular component need to be rendered or not, decided by this. If you don't mention the rendered, by default it is a true. For example, a certain apex column, you don't want to display every time. So you add a rendered attribute, rendered equal to specify some value. Whenever it is a true, then display this column. Otherwise, don't display the column. We will see one example for that. Next, header value. Header value is, as I mentioned, as soon as I display here the column, the header name is automatically displayed by the Salesforce. But in case, here it is showing as a name. But in case, if you want here account name, instead of a name, I want to show here account name. In that case, what we will do, we will use the header value. Header value override. The text should be displayed in the column header, right? This will override the standard Salesforce field name if you wanted to override it. And the width is if you wanted to increase the width of the column or decrease the width of the column. Whatever the column width is there, if you wanted to increase it or decrease it, you can use that. Now, let's go back here. Now, for example, I wanted to display account name, apex column, Now, we have an attribute called value. Value equal to, before what we used to do, we used to take account.name, right? But instead of taking into the account.name, so what we can do is we can take ACC dot. What I'm going to use value, because each record ACC dot name. Click on save. One column it is displaying it, but there is nothing data is coming. Now I'll take another one. Apex column. Value equal to ACC dot. Let's take account number. Let's save it. Another column is added, but the data is not displaying it. Okay. Apex column. Value equal to ACC dot phone. Save. Phone is also added, but the data is not displaying. Why the data is not displaying is none of the account has a data in this. Account name must be there, right? Let's add industry. Save. Final one more, let's add a type. Okay. Why it is not displaying? If you go to the account, okay, if you click on all accounts, everybody has a phone number, at least some of them has a number, type is there, industry is there, right? Phone number is there, but still, why can't I see the details here? What is the problem? What is the problem here?
Value in the page block table, value should be X.
Value should be list of records. I cannot take account. If I take a account, the standard controller equal to account, if I take that, the data won't be displayed because the list of records stored in record set var. If I use this, see the data is displaying. The list of records are stored here. So value should be always same as record set var. You cannot take account. In case if you are displaying the single record information, if you are not going to the page block table or you are not iterating you don't need a list of records in this entire page. That time it works. If you take account.name here, it works. Account.name. If I take here, right? ID I'm passing it. Okay, so it works that way. Okay, you can display the information. For that, you need to add another page block section, output field, as we have done it yesterday. We can use that. But when you are looping through the records, when you are iterating the each record, that time what we need a list of record. Value always should contain the list of record. And again, you need to specify a name to that. Where is nothing but you need to specify a name to it. Again, you have to give, this is the list of records. But again, I'm giving it as assume that you are mentioning as a nickname. You are giving as a nickname to that list of record, right? So if you have to get the values, you have to use this one. You cannot use this. If you use this, what will happen? ACCTS, let's say, Visualforce array list dot name. This is a array. This is a array. So you cannot take a array. If you take ACC, now there is a story behind it. Now let me copy this. Snipping. Okay. Now what is happening here? Value is contained in the array or list of information. Okay. It is containing the list of information, list of data. Now, Salesforce is giving an attribute called var. Why it is giving the attribute called var? Because Salesforce, what it does is, it will first look at the value. It will take the value. Okay. Now, again, it will look at the var. Because when it sees var, behind this attribute, there is a logic is written. Each record has to be stored here. This is a single record. So this is multiple records. So Salesforce is converting at the backside. When you say value for the table, it is a list of records or array, and var is nothing but Salesforce is converting this list of records or array to a single record. Single record, it is converting it. So you have to use single record dot name, single record dot account number, single record dot account phone, single record dot account industry, single record dot account type. Then first row is done. Now it will come back. When it will come back, Salesforce will see that, okay, first record is done. Now take the second record, give the second record data to the ACC. Now ACC has a second record. Again, display the information in the second record. Now second record is done. Again, the logic will go back to the Salesforce. Okay, second record is done. Now the next one is third record. Okay, ACC should contain the third record. So every time your ACC, the single record data is changing. Who is doing that? Salesforce is doing that. You are simply mentioning var equal to ACC. That means Salesforce is doing behind that attribute. The logic is implemented that you don't worry, you take a list of records. I'll give you the step-by-step each record. First, you take the first record information. Then once it is completed, come back to me. I'll give the second record information. So second record information will go to the ACC. After that, third record information will go to the ACC. Then after that, fourth record data goes to the ACC till it completes the whatever the list of records that account has. Is that clear? Any questions from the starting till now? Any questions?
Ma'am, I have one doubt.
Yeah.
So I did not understand the purpose of record set var, why we are using it.
Okay, if I do not use this, Let's assume that I'll not be using this. Now, I'll take a standard controller account. Let's save this. Now, is the data is displaying here? Whoever
No.
is- Okay, not displaying it. Now, what is the way that we have to see? Now, I need to find out how can I pass the list of records? What is the way of passing the list of records here? How can I pass the list of records?
I
So if I have to
think
pass
there may be some attribute so that.
If I have to pass the list of records, Salesforce is provided us. There is an attribute. It says that go ahead and use the record set var. Record set var. It is a string. Now, you don't worry about it. You give a name to it. I'll take care of it. What it will take care? That means behind this record set var, behind this the record set var, Salesforce is first going to look at what is the standard controller here. Standard controller is account. Okay, so that means fine. Standard controller is account. That means they are looking at the account object. Now here they have used the record set var. Okay, record set var is an attribute you are using. That means you need a list of records. You need an array. Whatever the data is there in the account, Salesforce thinks that, okay, you need a list of records. Okay, don't worry, I'll give you whatever the name you are mentioning here, ACCTS equal to, I'll pass the list of records. I'll pass the list of records. Any more questions?
Ma'am, I mean, we can set any name now in the record set where.
You can give anything. Pankaj, right? Pankaj.
Yes. Okay, instead of like a standard controller, we are using account objects here. We can use any custom object also as a standard controller.
Yes, we have not yet come to the custom object. Okay, when you say custom controller, are you talking about custom object or custom controller?
No, standard controller can be a custom object also, no?
Yes.
So we can mention the any custom object also as a standard controller, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ma'am, like if you can say what's the difference between record set var and value, like what we can say, ma'am? What
Okay.
will be the difference?
Are you clear with the record set var?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Now, table need a information. Okay. So table required a list of information. Where is the table? Table is within the page block and within the page. Now Apex page responsibility to pass whatever the table is needed. Whatever the table is needed here, the Apex page responsibility, okay, this is the name you have to use it. If you use, okay, value, if I use anything here, I can't display any value. For example, if I use different name here, let's assume that I'm going to change here Mohan. Does system understand? System does not understand. System says that I don't know what is Mohan here. Now use it proper name. Account standard controller dot something should be there. There is a property. Who is giving the property? The property is whatever the account standard controller, this account standard controller, you are giving a name to it. You are giving a name to it. So now value should be whatever the account standard controller dot, whatever the property name you have given, use that property name here. If you have used the record set where as a Mohan, then system will understand, okay, this is, you have mentioned in this, that means when the code is executed, first it will execute the first line. First it will execute the first line. When it is executed the first line, that time it will think that, okay, account standard controller dot, there is a property is given Mohan equal to list of data. Now, table is need a list of data. Who can give that list of data? Mohan has the list of data. So, okay, give the value equal to Mohan. Clear? Any questions?
Ma'am, how many records it will retrieve, madam? It is first to 20 or randomly, otherwise?
It will retrieve all the values, whatever the account has. So account has, how many are there? Account has a 21 records, right?
Okay.
As per the limit, standard controller displays only 20 records. Now what happened to 21 record? It is already has the 21 record. It might be there in the another page. Right now we are seeing only the single page. In a single page, you can see only 20 records if you use the standard controller. Till it is displaying the UK. So till here it is displaying it. University of Arizona is not displaying it. That doesn't mean that it's not have that information. It has the information. But for that, we need to implement a pagination. We need to implement a pagination. If you implement a pagination, if you click on a next button, it will show that record also.
Okay. But defaultly it will display first 20.
Yes, for the standard controller.
Okay.
Swapna, can I rename column headers?
Yes, you can rename it. There is a attribute which we have discussed right now, which is called header value. Okay, header value it is showing as an account name. Now header value is name. Instead of phone number, I wanted to show the mobile number. Mobile number. Let's save it. Displaying the mobile number. Header value is to override. Whatever the default header is there, it will override.
Ma'am, what is the use of rendered?
We are yet to come there.
Okay.
But is this clear? Record set where, value where?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now let's move on. Now next one is commandLink. We are going to learn commandLink, Visualforce Tag. commandLink. Use the commandLink to display the clickable link. Display the clickable link. So when user press that link, the action defined by the controller executes. That means, for example, I have some name here. Assume that next. And it is displaying like this. Now, whenever user click on this, whenever I click on this one, there will be an action defined it. We will be defining the action on it. So based on the action, whatever is written on this link that is going to execute it. That is going to execute. So once it is, when I click on this, once it is executed, either the page will refresh or it will open the next page. Either it will navigate to the different page or it will refresh the current page based on the logic that is written on the action or the logic written on the on click. Generally, there are different type of action methods we have. So save, edit, delete, cancel, next, previous. These are Salesforce is providing us. For the next and previous, for the next, you have to use curly braces exclamation has next. This is provided by this Salesforce property. This is called as a property. Curly braces exclamation has next. For the previous, they are providing exclamation has previous slash. For save, edit, delete, it's normal. Curly braces, exclamation save, curly braces, exclamation edit, curly braces, exclamation delete. Whereas for the next, they are providing the property called has next. Previous is has previous. Previous is has previous. So for example, you are implementing the command link for the next button. Then we can use this property to navigate the page without using the custom controller, without writing any logic. What I can do is I can use the has next button, has next property. Then I can click on I can do the navigation. I can do the navigation. Attributes are action. Action is going to the merge field like this, right? Curly braces exclamation previous, curly braces exclamation next is the action. So action use the merge field syntax to reference the method. For example, action equal to exclamation save. For previous next, we use the curly braces exclamation previous, curly braces exclamation next. Whereas rendered, what I'll do is I'll use this one, has next. Rendered, I use has rendered equal to. So action equal to curly braces exclamation next. Rendered equal to exclamation has next. There is a logic written by the Salesforce behind this property. Okay, so has next. What will happen if I use a rendered? Rendered is a basically it's a the output is a boolean. Boolean is nothing but at the end of the execution, whether the rendered equal to true or false. That is the outcome. If it is a true, display this command link. Whatever the command link is there, display. If it is a false, don't display that particular command or don't display that particular component. If rendered equal to true, then display it. When we are in the first page, right now, let me go back to the page. When we are in this page, I don't need a previous button. I don't need a previous button. If I show the previous button here, people will start clicking on the previous button, but there is no use of previous button on this, right? On this page, it should show only next. But I need a button previous also. I need a button previous, next both. But I don't want to display the previous here. When I go to the next, that time it should show me the previous. And if there is no next page, should not display anything. So that means if I have a 3 pages, assume that I have a 2 pages. This is the first page. This is the second page. Assume that it is ending it here. The data is ending here. First page, full data is displayed. On this page, I need only the next button because there is no previous page. Now on this page, I need only the previous page, previous button. I need only previous button because I do not have any next page. So I should not be displaying the next page. If there is a next page here, then I should display next. If there is a next page here, assume that there is a next page here. Then it is fine to display the next. When I click on the next, it should navigate here. But this is the end of the page. After this, there are no pages. Now what should do? It should display only the previous. There is no point of displaying next button. There is no point of displaying here next button. That means I cannot declare commandLink. Okay, first page commandLink, use this. commandLink only next. Okay, second page commandLink, I need only previous, next. Now third page, I need a commandLink only previous. I cannot define this. That means I need to write a code based on the page. Based on the page, I need to write a code. Instead of doing that, better I declare within the page, I'll declare a next button as well as the previous button. Next button, what are the commandLink, next commandLink, and previous commandLink. So I'll initialize both. But what I'll do is I'll use a rendered attribute, I'll use it. That means in rendered attribute, what is the property I'm using it? Has previous. Has previous. This is has next because this is the next one. This is has next. And next one I'm using the rendered equal to has previous. Has previous. Now here the output of this, whatever this has next, has previous is there, the output of this is I will receive the output true or false. Salesforce is going to tell me the true or false. The output of that has next property is true or false. Even has previous output is true or false. So that means finally at the end, rendered equal to true or false. How they are giving us the true or false? Because they have written a logic here. It is looking how many pages are there. If there is a page after this, then that means rendered equal to true. If there is a no page after this, and there is a page before this, that means rendered should be for the next one, rendered should be there is a no page after this. So it should be false. They are looking at our Visualforce pages. Salesforce is looking at our Visualforce pages. How many pages of code that you have, like how many pages of data you are displaying it. The logic, whatever you have written, how many page navigations it is doing it. Is there a next page or not? If there is a no next page, rendered equal to false. If there is a next page, rendered equal to true. Instead of you mentioning here rendered equal to true, rendered equal to false, they are giving us some property here. So using that property, we can identify is there a next page or previous page or not. Clear? Any questions? Okay, so let me go ahead and show you that. So at the end of the page block, I'm going to implement that apex colon commandLink. I'm going to use apex colon commandLink. Action, curly braces, I'm going to use previous. and then rendered. Instead of true false, what I'll do is I'll use the property has previous. Perfect. Let me close it here. Apex colon, command link. Now let me copy this. Here I need a next. As next. Now let me display the text previous. I'll write go previous. Go previous page. Go next page instead of next previous, just to make sure that we are understanding, I'm writing here go next page. Command link. Apex command link page must occur between the Apex form. Yeah. So it has to be between the Apex form. Here is the link. Okay, so right now till here, it is showing the 20 records. If I click on next, it is showing the one record. What are the remaining record is there? It is showing. Now without any Apex logic, I can do the navigation.
There is no need of order. First, we need to write next, and then we need to write previous, something like that.
No, there is no order.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
so instead of command link, like here we mentioned command link, Apex command link. So we can also use command button and action and the same code that we have mentioned here. So that we can get the buttons instead of link.
Button, the property. Let me show you that. Value equal to go next, go to previous page. Right, you have to change it instead of displaying the outside. The whatever the value is there, you cannot display that value outside.
Okay.
Ma'am, how it is considering which page should have the previous, which page having the next, which page should have both?
Means exactly.
We didn't write any logic, right? This page should have a previous page, this page should have next page, like that.
This is okay. Basically, it's displaying in an order.
Yeah.
It's displaying in alphabetic order. Okay, so whatever the after that the data is there, it will go to the next page. If you add any other record here, so ultimately, for example, I'll go ahead and add another record. Let's say Akash, which starts with A, and rate one, rating, phone number, some phone number. Then we are displaying the industry, agriculture, type, prospect, click on save. Refresh. It's basically it is taking in the order.
Okay.
Okay.
Depends on the record alphabetical order. It is taking previous and next. If it is having more records in the second page, more than 40 or 50 records, automatically it will add both previous and next in
Yes.
the next page.
Yes,
Okay.
it will add.
Can we control the number of records per page also? Like I want in the
Yes.
first page 10 records only.
Yes, you can control it, but that need a little bit customization that we will talk later. Anyway, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
We can control that. So for example, if we say that I wanted to display the records, not from the first one, I wanted to display the records from, let's say, page table. First, from the fifth record. What is the fifth record here? Let's go account. Index starts with a 0. So fifth record is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Support group. Right? It's in order. All accounts. 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Edge communication. So from the edge communication, it is displaying.
Okay.
Like command button will also work, right? I mean, we have used commandLink for go next page and go previous page.
Yes.
So command button is also working.
Yes.
Good. Okay. Without writing any logic, it's working as same as a commandLink, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Any questions on the command link? Okay, so let's move on. The next one is panelGrid. panelGrid. So panelGrid Salesforce tag. So basically, let's divide the panelGrid. Panel is nothing but a small group of members or an object who are chosen to do something. If you are working in an office, or you might heard this panel member. Panel members, they are panel members. That means a small group. Panel is nothing but a small group who are dedicated for the specific to choose and to do something. And the grid is nothing but a pattern or a structure made from horizontal vertical lines crossing each other from square. So panelGrid is nothing but a group of members. It's basically the layout, because grid has a horizontal vertical information and placing the members into the proper in layout. So apex colon panelGrid is nothing but which allows the more control of a layout. That means where to place that. Do we have to place that particular, let's take a command link. Okay, command link, do I need to place it? If I have a 4 commands, 4 command links, do I need to display in 2 rows, or do I need to display in one grid only, or 2 grids or 4 grids? So let's assume that I have a first, next, previous, and last. These are the buttons are there. Now panelGrid, by using the panelGrid, you will decide it how to display it. Do you want to display in each cell? This is first is in one cell, and next is another cell, and previous is another cell, or Last is the next step. Or do you want it to display in to grid? Right? And here I have this is the grid. In the grid, so first button should be displayed here, and the second button should be displayed here. Next button should be displayed here, and the previous button should be displayed below the first. And then last button should be, or last command link should be displayed below the next. You decided, or else in one column, okay, create line by line. So basically it decides the way of displaying the command link, the way how it needs to be displayed. It controls the information, how the command link should be displayed in the layout, so that everything can be done using the panel grid. Now attributes are columns, how many columns needs to be displayed, the number of columns in the panel grid. Column classes, if you wanted to apply any CSS, like external CSS, comma separated, if you wanted to apply, you can use the column CSS. Border, if you wanted to add a border, basically one border is a thin line, two border is a little bit thicker. And next, cell padding. Cell padding is the space between the border of each table cell and its content. Cell spacing is the space between the border of each table cell and border of the other cell surrounding. Now let's go ahead and see. Now, what are the command link is there? I'm going to put that into the panel grid. Between the panel grid, I'll add it. Let's save it. Okay, did not apply anything. Now I'll say that column equal to, let's suppose 4. And I'll give the border equal to 1. Let's say
Columns will.
column let's save it. Columns. There is a added here. Let's assume that I have a command links here. I'll put few more command links. I'll remove the render. I'll just say first. And last. Just to show you that how it is displaying it. Last. Now between this, I need a gap. Now border 1 is added there, so that's the reason it is showing a box. Now if I add a cell spacing, cell space, let's add 5, and also let's add the cell padding equal to 5. See, the space has gone, right? Space has, if I add a more spacing here, 15. So you can adjust it. Right? The spacing around the cell is increased. Now this will work as it is, it will work. Click on previous. It is applied to the next page also. Now, in case if you wanted to add a style, let's assume that I wanted to place this in the center. Right? It is somewhere here. I need to place it in the center of the page. So what you can do is you can use the style, which is a CSS style. margin inline equal to auto.
Text align center, ma'am.
Text align center does not work on this. If I use text align center, it does not work. Basically, this is not a text. This is not a text. So panel grid, it's a grid, right? So grid does not work. For the grid, we have to use the margin inline auto. So automatically it displays into the center. So if I go on next, no, this is also in center. So as usual, this will work.
So what about that first and last?
First and last, we have not written anything. Rendered is not there. Right, by default, it will refresh the same page. Now let's click on last. It is going to the last. Salesforce auto doing that. We have not
Ma'am,
written the rendered, so that's the reason it is not displaying whether it should display here or not. So we have not written any rendered. Yes.
ma'am, can you add page numbers?
Yes. we
Suppose
can
you
add
have a
page numbers.
okay.
We can. Any question on the panel grid? Okay. So let's.
Ma'am, the column attribute and the border attribute, can you explain that one for panel grid? How the column is equal to 4 is defined in this one?
Okay, if I say one, save. What happened in single column? The buttons are displaying
Okay.
this. If I go on last page or go to next page is also similar.
No, even though we didn't have an attribute rendered for the last and first, like it was showing, right? It was like getting that page
Actions
first.
will be performed. Actions will, we have mentioned the action. Okay, two things are there here. Action rendered. Render decides whether the link command button or a link should be displayed or not. Action is action works. That is a standard action. Salesforce action, these all are. If I remove here previous, I'm removing the rendered. What is happening? He's showing the previous. Right? Rendered we have not mentioned for the first and last. So when we do not mention the rendered, it will not apply whether I should display this button here or not. Actions are different. What action has to be performed when I click on that link? That actions is different. Render does not do anything here. Logic it does not do. Render is just a true or false, whether to display the button command link or not.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
So, ma'am, columns, borders, cell spacing, cell padding. So these are kind of like we are denoting we are giving the value 111. So means we can assume so these are kind of integer type, like data type, right?
String. Border is a string. We are giving in the double quotes.
Okay. So columns, border, these all are into the strings.
String, yes. Okay. So let's move on. Apex facet. Apex facet is, we call it as a facet. It's basically a placeholder. It's basically a placeholder for the content that's rendered in specific part of the parent component. Rendered in the specific component. Now use this apex facet Visualforce tag to get the user input. How do we get it? Using the input Visualforce page tag or output. So basically within the apex facet, we use the input field, input Visualforce tag or output Visualforce tag can be used with the S-object field. Now attributes are, we have a name attribute, the name of the facet to be rendered. Now let's see what is that means is, right now, let me change this for, right now this is the table which is displaying it, right? Let me take snipping. This is the table is displaying. Now, before this, I need another column. I need another column. I need another column where it shows a checkbox for the each record. I need a checkbox for the each record. How can we implement to display the checkbox? What is the tag? What is the Visualforce tag we use it? What is
Input
the
checkbox.
input checkbox? By using the input checkbox, I can implement it in the each record. In the each record, I can implement it. But we have a header here. Okay, let me show you first this one. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an input checkbox to display the input checkbox before the name. Now, let me go to the debug mode and I need to add a column. Basically, first I need to add a column here. Apex column. Now, within this column, I'll add apex input checkbox. Now, first what happened here? The column has created before the name. See, this is the column has created. So there is a column has created here. This column has created, this some space has created before the name. You can observe that. Now, between that, what I'll use is, I'll use the apex input checkbox. Let's save it. Now the input checkbox is displaying in the each column, right? I can select, unselect, right? But on the top, it is not displaying anything. Now I need a checkbox here also. I need a checkbox on the header. I need a checkbox in the header. So how can we implement in the header? So what we have to do is, we have to use apex facet. And here, name equal to header. And within this, again, I'll write apex input checkbox. What happened? It is showing the arrow. Okay, input checkbox is showing. Now, what is the name it is playing here? Why? What is the thing it is playing here? This attribute. This attribute decides where the checkbox needs to be displayed, where the text that is there within the facet, where it should display. If I say here footer, what will happen? It will display at the bottom. It won't display on the header. So name attribute decides whatever is written here. If you are displaying any column name or anything, you are displaying some value, right? Now I need a checkbox here, but it is coming in the bottom. Instead of bottom, what I'll do, footer. Instead of footer, I'll put a header. Now footer gone. Only it is displaying the header.
That attribute will be a location, right?
Yes, it decides the location, whether you want a header or footer. Whatever the name you give here, you can give only two names, header and footer. You cannot give something else here. If you give something else, not in the header, not in the footer, it does not understand what to do. You cannot give only two things you can give, header or footer. Now, if you select this, it won't select all of this. Ideally, what will happen in the here, if you select this, everything gets selected. If you unselect it, everything should be unselected. If you wanted to implement that kind of a logic, then we have to do the customization. That means we have to write a logic on that. Just using the facet, we cannot do this. This is a still individual selection. Still individual selection. Is that clear? Apex colon facet.
Ma'am, the use of this tag is only for to do any changes in the header or footer only, right?
Yes, yes. If you wanted to display anything in the header or footer.
Yeah, okay.
Now let's move on. Apex variable. So Apex variable, we use this Apex colon variable to declare a local variable in Visualforce page. To display a local variable in Visualforce page. So Apex colon variable does not support reassignment inside of an iteration component. What is that means? That means if you take any language, what you will do, you will first initialize integer equal to 1. Then after that, what you will do, integer I equal to 1. Then within the code, in order to increment that, you use either I++ or you use I equal to I plus 1 in order to increment the integer, right? But you cannot do that in the Visualforce page, Visualforce using this Apex colon variable. Reassignment, you cannot assign the by incrementing it. You cannot assign it by incrementing it. You have to initialize it again. You have to initialize it again. Then if you wanted to increment it, you can increment it. What are the attributes in the Apex variable? Value. Value, the expression that can be represented by the variable within the body of the variable component. That means you decided whatever the starting number. Value equal to, I wanted to start the number, value equal to, let's assume that I wanted to show the numbers. If I wanted to start from 1, use 1. Use 1. Variable here, there is another one, var. Var is nothing but the name of the variable that can be used to represent the value expression within the body of the variable of the component. That means in other languages, we'll say integer. Let's take a number equal to 1, right? So here number is, what is this? Var equal to, you will mention number. Value equal to, you will mention the whatever the value you wanted to assign it. Now let's assume that in the table, here I wanted to display, assume I wanted to add another column before the checkboxes. Let's add another column here. And here what I wanted to display, starting with 1, first record, second record, and third record, right? It should keep on increasing the number. It should keep on increasing the number. 6th record, 7th record, it should keep on increasing the number. This is what I wanted to implement. For that, what I'm going to declare it is, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use the apex colon variable to declare this number. So let's go ahead. Right. Now within the apex page block, I need to add a column first. Apex colon, column. Apex colon, column. End of the apex colon column, and let's save it. There should be a column added there. Okay, so column is added. Now within this, I'll use, first of all, I need to declare the apex variable, right? So before I go into the page block table, I cannot declare it in the starting of the variable. I cannot do it in the page table. I need to declare it apex colon variable. And let's say var equal to, I'll give the name of it is row number. And then value equal to, let's say that it should start with 1. I just declared it. I have not done anything. Now I need to show the value. Now if I wanted to display that, I need to display it here. Row number. Let's say this. And what happened here? All of them are coming 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Basically, we declared a variable and I'm just showing that variable in the column. Did I do anything, the +1, or I did not add anything here? I did not add any increment or anything. I have not done it. Now I need to do the increment. Initially, I have declared it 1, row number equal to 1. I have declared it, right? Now, once this line is completed, when it comes to the second line, I need to increment here. I need to increment row number +1. So that what will happen, it will display 2. Now, after completing this entire record, whenever the cursor come to third one, then I need to increase again the row number +1. Because last time it was a 2. So this +1 keep on, I have to add it. That means at the end of this column, whatever the last column is there, after printing the last column, I should increment the row number. I should increment the row number. Now let's go ahead and increment it. Now where is our column is ending? Column is ending here, right? After that, I'll just add another column, apex colon column. Column. Now, does it work if I do this? Like a row number, whatever the row number is there. row number plus 1. I'm doing the increment. What happened here? It is displaying the second row this side. Second row this side, which I do not want. It should be here. It should come as a, here it should be 2, and the next one should be 3, and next one should be 4. This is the way I need a sequence. I don't want to display this side. Now, incrementing. This is basically I'm reassigning the row number. So reassignment cannot be done. So what I need to use, I need to use a apex variable again here, and then value equal to row number plus 1. Now it has increased. You cannot reassign it. You cannot do. Basically, you are, if I use here as a normal row number plus 1, if I use it here, what is happening? I'm printing the data this side. I am printing the data this side. Right? I'm printing the data this side. I don't want to print this side. I wanted to increment it. For incrementing also, you need to use the apex colon variable. You need to use apex colon variable. If you use the apex colon variable, then it will increment and display it. So only display will be done here in the first column. But here the header is not displaying anything. So what I'll use a header value, the one which we have discussed, the attribute row number. Click on save. Perfect. And if I wanted to decrease the width of this, then there is a lot of space. It doesn't have any information, just numbers are there. Why do I need that much space? So use the width equal to, just added 2%. Let's see. So if you added 2%, that's fine, because the column has the row number, it should display all header. Clear if you say this. Perfect number. Any questions till this point? No.
I want to explain that increment of row numbers.
Okay. So increment of row number, three things which we have to do. First, declare the apex colon variable. Declare it first. Assume that I'm declaring the var equal to number. Starts with value equal to, let's assume starts with 0. This is the initialization. What is this? This is, I'm initializing it. I'm initializing it. Now, next thing, what I'm doing it, I am displaying the data. Number. Where I'm displaying within the column, apex colon, column. Within this, I'm displaying the data. So what is this? This is displaying the data. Now next one is increment. For the increment, now for the increment also we have to use the apex colon variable. But what is the different on top and below is apex colon variable. Var should be, name of the var is same number, but this time value equal to, do not hard code, take the number plus 1. Take the number plus 1. Here I am doing the increment. So what is happening here? What is happening? First it is 0. It is displaying the 0. And it is coming below. And it has seen this variable. I am doing the plus 1. That means this is a 0. Number is 0 and plus 1. What is the var? Var is the same. Because we should not change the var number here. Because why? Because the display is only this one. If you change the name of this variable, it will be different. So again, you are saying here number equal to 0 plus 1. So this time number is 1. It displays the 1. Again, it will come back. Now it is a 1. And then I'm incrementing with the 1. So here it will display 2. Now it will come here. It will take 2 plus 1. So number is 3. Next it will display 3.
When that attribute where is there, like you have given as number, right? So like only number should like what we need to display. You are saying that var equals to number attribute. What that
Whatever
is
the name you are using it here, use the same name here. If you are using here var equal to Madhu, use here also var equal to Madhu. You should not be changing the name of that.
Swapna?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does Apex, does it hoist a variable? Does it support variable hoisting?
Sorry?
Does it support hoisting? Like JavaScript is a default behavior, right? Hoisting.
Hosting,
I mean,
we don't have
now this Apex variable number, can I access it before it is declared?
before
Can you-
declaring it.
Yeah, I mean, you declared it here, right? So can I access this number, this, what is that, curly braces, exclamation mark, row number before this, before Apex variable? Yeah, this statement, line number 7, can you put it on line number 4? Yeah, this is allowed. It doesn't allow.
For any language, not only the Salesforce, you take any language, first the declaration should happen. So otherwise system, how it will understand what is this? If the declaration is there, then only it can understand next time onwards what is that. This is generic for anyone.
Okay. And how about the constants? Does it have constants?
No, variable.
No. Okay, okay.
Now, for example, if you wanted to apply a color to the table, now it is everything showing as this. Now, if you wanted to apply color to the table, we have an attribute called, which we have discussed, column class. If you use this column class and add it here, the external CSS. External CSS is nothing but basically you implement here style. style. Let's say that I'll give a name to it, dot active. I'm just giving a name to it. Within this, I'll say that background should be pink. Right, now what I'll do, I'll give that name to the columns classes. Let's click on save. Everything will be in a pink. Now instead of giving this, can I give this directly there? Can I give this directly here? It does not work. Basically, it is a class. For class, we need an external CSS. You can upload in the static resource and refer that static resource here, and you can use it, or else you can implement the style. Any questions? Okay. So conclusion, what did we discuss? Enable development mode, and we have discussed the Apex page attribute, Apex page block table, Apex column, Apex command link. Within that, we have seen the two properties, has previous, has next, which we have used in the rendered, and Apex colon panel grid, Apex colon facet, Apex colon variable. These all we have seen. Now questions, how to enable the development mode for Visualforce page and what is the use of it?
Click on avatar, then
Go to the
settings.
details and the click box on the development mode. The use of development is to write a code and bit in the page itself.
Same page.
Right. So navigation steps are go to the avatar and settings, advanced user details. There we have a development mode field. Just click on enable that and click on save. Use of it, basically in the same page, we can write the code and view the logic instead of switching into the developer console. What is Apex page block table? What is Apex colon page block table?
It is used to display a list of data as table.
List of data, right. So list of data displayed as a table. How to use the Apex colon column in Visualforce page?
To display the data in a single column in a table.
Right. How do we use it within the Apex page block table? We cannot use it outside of the page block table. How to declare a local variable in the Visualforce page? How to declare a local variable in Visualforce page?
Apex colon variable.
X colon variable. Where and value attributes.
Apex colon variable. How to align the column header to center in Visualforce page? This is one of the interview, they have asked, how do you align a column header to center in Visualforce page? How do you do that?
Using margin.
Column header. When I say column header,
Margin align.
this one. Name is showing this side, right? We need in the center. How do we align it? What is this basically?
Using style equal to
Okay, so
text align center.
style equal to
Text align center.
text hyphen align column center. Click on save. What happened? The data came into the center, not the header. We want this header to be in center. No, the data came into the center, not the header. What is the attribute? We have discussed the attribute. We have a header
Apex
class.
colon facet.
Sorry. Header class. In the header class, you have to use the external CSS. So let's take column header. Text align.
Well, just like column class, we are using header class, right?
Yes. So now I'll use the column header in the header class. Save it. Now name came into the center. This is one of the interview question they asked. How can you display the header name in the center? And they told us to write a program. So how to align the column header to center in the Visualforce page?
Using column class.
Header class attribute.
Header class attribute. That attribute should be within the apex column. Now this is another interview question that recently asked, what are the global keywords?
User profile organization.
Static resource.
Static resource.
Yes. So we have to say that we have a global keywords like a user, label, profile, resource to access the various values from the component on the page. Example, from user object or from profile or from a resource page field. If you wanted to access, then we have to use it with the dollar. So global keywords are user, profile, resource, label, organization. Label, we are yet to discuss that. It will come, the topic. So this is recently they have asked what are the global keywords? Because global keywords, not only in the Visualforce page, we will use it in the Lightning also. We will use it in the formula field. Different places we will use the global keywords. Now homework, implement a Visualforce page to display the contact information in table format. First name, last name, email, mobile phone. So first name, last name, email, mobile phone. Now you see here, there is a page block section is there here. We have a page block section, within that the table. Next homework, implement a Visualforce page to display lead information in table format. Row number, checkbox, lead name, lead company, email, industry, phone. So the lead information should be displayed like this. First, it should display the row number, checkbox, lead name, lead company, lead email, lead industry, lead phone number. And bottom, the button. Bottom, it should display. Next, if you have a more information, and in the second page, it should display previous. In second page, it display previous. In the first page, it should display the next. Any questions on the homework? Okay. Any questions? We are done with the session. Any questions, anybody? And yeah, these are the trial heads. Okay.
No, I think it's a bit tough about today's session, like the topics and all.
Mhm. I'll repeat next time again, the same thing.
Okay, thank you.
But you have to tell me what is the difficult one. Okay, so here let me ask, did you understand the page attribute? Did you understand the page attribute? Is everybody understood the page attribute?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anybody who does not understand the page attribute? Okay. Apex page block table. Did everybody understood?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything that you have not got a clarity on the page block table? Okay. Apex column. Is everybody understood?
Yes, ma'am.
I think I need to have some
Bharati,
clarity.
Mallikarjun, Shailaja, Sibita. What about you guys?
Nice. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is clear. Command link. Any questions on the command link?
Yeah, it's
Ma'am,
fine.
if you have the so many pages, like so many records and the pages, right? So for that, we just need to take only 2 lines for the command link. One is previous, one is next, and both should be rendered, right? It
Yeah.
will automatically
Yes.
show in the page. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. If we put first or last also, it will show, ma'am.
Yes, it will work. But render, I have not shown you the render. But
Yeah,
action
okay.
equal to curly braces exclamation first, you put action equal to curly braces exclamation last, you put it, it will work.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Sure.
Any questions on this property and command link? Okay. How about panel grid? Is that clear?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any question that you have not understood about the panel grid? Okay. How about apex colon facet?
Yes, ma'am. Understood.
Checkbox. Anyone who does not have a clarity on the apex colon facet? Anyone? Sibita, Sri Lakshmi, Swapna, Tejo Kumar, Naresh.
No, ma'am, no doubts.
Okay, Naresh. Yes, Tejo Kumar. Any questions on the apex colon facet?
No, ma'am. Actually, all the concepts while you're explaining, we are good. But while we need to do more practice, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. See,
Otherwise, we are
the
forgetting a lot of tags are there in Visualforce.
Yes,
That's
like actually we are forgetting that what exactly use of a particular track attribute. We need to we need to practice again.
Okay. So, okay, I got it. So the reason why I have taken this, if I'm implementing a table, okay, if I'm implementing a table in the Visualforce page, I need to pass the list of the array. For that, I need an attribute. Table, I need to show this. Now I cannot end this today because I need to give a clarity about the column, because what is the data displayed in the column is decided by here. Now, the question will come after showing this, why it is showing only the 20 records? What about the other records? Does it have that is holding this or not? In order to show that, I need to use the commandLink. So I have used the commandLink. For this commandLink, how to display as a grid? Used it panelGrid. Now, for this, if I have to select a single record, how can I select it? I have used the facet. Now, if I have to show this here, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, till whatever the numbers are there, that is used by the variable. So these all are internally connected to the single story, single requirement. If I get a requirement to implement a table, these all I have to use it. If they say that I need a table which will show the lead information, which is almost similar to the Salesforce, how the layout is there, I need exactly. At least UI, I should be able to implement it, right? So for that, I have to use it these all. If I complete this part today, right? And I cannot move this part, because by the time I end this, the questions will come. Where is the next 21 record? Where can I see? Ultimately, I have to go here. Now, how can you show the numbers? Can I show the numbers? Yes, I can show the numbers. Right? These are questions are coming from you guys. That's the reason I have collected all your questions. And finally, I'm displaying the output.
Swapna, I'm having one thing like we should have assignments which includes our previous tags also. I mean, like we are going 2 days Visualforce and 2 days Lightning, right? So when the circle is coming, some confusion is getting regarding the previous tags. For example, yesterday I have I have forgot about some which output field tag. So if we have the assignments which includes the previous tags also,
Yes, ma'am, this happens with me too, ma'am.
that
Like,
will become more practice, right? We are practicing whatever we have discussed in today's session. But
Okay.
Visualforce is like more tags and we have to remember a lot. It's not like if we forgot something, we can implement some logic, or it's not like that. Right? If
More
I have to
practice is
write
needed
that-
for that. You have
Yes.
to practice it more.
Yes. So, I mean, what I'm just suggesting is like we have the assignments with previous tags.
Okay.
If we
Yesterday I have given the tab assignment, right? Is everybody done with that?
actually, that only I missed today because of some personal work. That is having, I know that is having output field tag, but we need some more kind of this kind of assignments. It's
Okay.
just
So yesterday I have mentioned tab 1 showing the image. Tab
Yes.
2 detail section. Tab 3 show the full few fields.
Out-
Other has a empty, right?
Yes.
So other display the table. Whatever we have discussed here, other, this is the assignment 3. In the other, display the table.
Sure, Swapna.
Now, while implementing it, if you are getting confused, which tag do I need to use it? Click here, component reference. Go to the component reference. It will take you to the Salesforce Visualforce component. Salesforce Visualforce component. Now, we have discussed about the input checkbox field, input file, input hidden, input secret, input text area. These all we have discussed. Do I need to use the text or text area? Just check this. Okay, text is just normal text, it is displaying it. Now, do I need to go to the text area or not? Now, you will get it, the information from here. Now, if you look at most of us, we have discussed. All of these inputs are discussed. And then we have output field, output label, output link, output panel, output text, page block section, page block table. Right, detail section. Apex tab panel tab. Actually, we have discussed this. Let me give you the overview. So far, what we have discussed, we have discussed the input Visualforce Tag. And we have discussed the output Visualforce Tags. And
Image.
then
We have
page
page block section.
section, page block
In-
table. Right? This is one. And then detail section, how to display the details.
Image.
Image, how to see the images.
Static resources.
Apex : style sheet. And then today we have discussed about the Apex : variable. Apex : panelGrid. Apex : facet. Apex : column. Now only this much. Input field, I know how to use it. Output field, I know how to use it. And also we have discussed the Apex : form. Is there anything missing?
Apex : param also.
Param. Right? Page block section. This is for the page. Input, if I need to display any input fields. right?
Command button.
Sorry.
Command button, command link.
Yeah. Command button. Apex colon command link. Right. Output to display the value. Input is to capture the information. Page block sections are the designing the UI. This is for the table. Within the table, I use the apex column. Now detail is similar like a classic if I wanted to display the details. Image is to display the image, either passing the URL or a value. Style sheet, if I wanted to call the CSS style sheet, then we have to use this style sheet. Variable, local variable declaration. Panel grid, it's a design, the grid design. Facet, just now we have discussed about the showing the whatever if you wanted to display in the header and footer. Apex form is used whenever we are using the input or whenever we are displaying the column, right? That time we use the form. Para, it's a basically child component of the output text or output link. Command button, command link. Apart from this, anything we have discussed it? Just practice is needed. Okay, make sure you are practicing it. If you want, we can take a Sunday complete day for the practicing.
I think we can do this Swapna.
Okay, in Sunday class, we can do the practice where I'll give the assignment. You guys has to do the assignment during the class.